Recording live from my headhunting stronghold in Annapolis, Maryland, beyond. This is the Recruiter Roundtable Season 3. Every episode is an open discussion for recruiters, headhunters, and talent pros, so feel free to participate or just sit back and listen as we bring you topics, discussions, tips, tricks, and more from both industry dinosaurs like Cale Campbell and noobs alike. Please like and subscribe, and let's start with the Recruiter Roundtable Season 3, leveraging video outreach for business development and recruitment. So when we started talking about this topic, I delved into it like kind of deep because I actually bought a I think it's called like HeyGen or something off of not AppSumo, but their website. They had like a lifetime deal, and I never was able to figure it out.
What is it called?
I think like HeyGen or something like that. It's in this thing. It has personalization, but the lifetime deal doesn't allow that. You have to buy a whole bunch of other stuff. So you can do video outreach with somebody that looks kind of like you, and it is personalized with variables, but it's not you. So when I got that, and then I never jumped into it, and then I see Rich Rosen does this a lot. Kelly had looked into it, so I figured this would be a good way to kind of like talk a little bit about something a little different. And then I looked at not just email, because that's what we were talking about, but LinkedIn messaging, and SMS. So I looked at a lot of different ways that we could do this. So I put together I didn't put together, AI put together all my notes that come out of my brain into I have a cheat sheet that I'll link in the description, or I'll link in the chat as well. And then we had a presentation and everything. And the stuff that's in the presentation is exactly as in the sheet, right? The stuff that I have in the sheet, I put word for word into the presentation, just so I didn't have to just have a piece of sheet of paper on there and read off of it and give you guys something to look at besides my ugly mug. So that's kind of where I went with this. Does anybody of you have any questions, concerns, or anything before we get started? I'm sure more people will jump in, but is everybody okay with me to start the presentation?
Yeah.
And again, I don't give a fuck. So, leveraging video across digital channels, right? So, and this for both things, like for business development and recruitment, right? The core strategy is create once and distribute it everywhere, right? So, if you're using platforms that have hyper personalization and it's a video that is able to be used in so many different areas, is what's going to really make it better for you in terms of scaling, right? So, go ahead, Kelly.
And I think so one of the reasons that we picked this topic is because it's a way to stand out, and it's a way for people to kind of see who you are without making a commitment to a phone call. You know, a lot of times people want to kind of see for themselves. They want to, check you out. They want to check your company out. And, with all the scams and all the things that are going on right now, I think people are a little leery of they're not so open to talking with a stranger anymore. Used to be, you'd call somebody, they'd, stop what they were doing, they'd shut their door, and they'd listen to what you have to say. So things have really changed. And so that's kind of where we're headed with this, is how to stand out amongst people who, the noise.
Yeah, that is the key. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I got to tell you, one of the reasons / excuses that I use not to get involved in the video yet is that haven't we been told, and you guys can help me out on this, haven't we been told that the more links you have, or certain types of links, the more apt somebody is not to open it up and have it be placed automatically in spam reminder?
Yeah, if you have like links to your website, links to a video, and links to your favorite quote, and links to a calendar thing, and then pictures. You have all these pictures too, right? A lot of people put their logo, and the more stuff like that that's in your email, the harder it is to get deliverability. So, when you're doing something like this to scale, and Kelly talks about this in campaigns, right? You don't want all that junk. You don't want all pixels and everything in your email, because that gets flagged for spam. So we can talk a little bit about this when we get down the road. But if you're doing the video outreach, that's all should be in there, right? Like, it shouldn't have your signature. It shouldn't have all these extra links and everything, because anything that's going to put you closer to a spam is bad. And a link right off the bat can be an issue. You can't embed video really anymore. Some allow, some don't. So it's not even worth embedding. That's why, you know, a YouTube link or a Senspark link or whatever it is probably the better way to go, and using their platforms because they have some ideas about workarounds as well. And that's why we added to the video messaging to LinkedIn messaging and SMS, because those things don't have spam as much, right? So
I do a lot of email marketing and email outreach to candidates. I do cold calling too, so everybody can calm down. But I've never, so my cold open rate is between 60 and 80%. So I've never had trouble with open rates, you know, being.
Yeah, but you follow best practices too, right? That is the key, is Kelly follows best practices. So let's see where we are here. So leveraging video, we're going to talk about why video, right? So Kelly had said it before, it builds a human connection, right? It's very authentic, your personality, they can see you, they can trust you, they can touch you. You know, it's like she said, you know, people get leery about all these scams. You can maximize the outreach, and we'll talk a little bit about more of that, and you can deliver a clear message. You're talking, you're saying, hey, I'm a headhunter, I'm wonderful and great, call me, I'll get you a job, right? It's quick and to the point. And I can't get any more, you know, clear than that. So a little bit about the softwares and tools that are out there, right? So there are all-in-one, there are AI personalization, and then there's the cheap and easy, right? So for the all-in-ones, Vidyard, Senspark, and Hippo Video, and there's a couple other ones, but these are ones that I kind of researched off the top. And Senspark seems to kind of stand out, at least for sales and recruitment teams and solos, right? Because it's a little more cost effective. When you move into the hyper personalization or the AI personalization, like Be Human and Personal, and not HeyGen as much, but HyperEase, they can get expensive, because these are the ones you use. Dove. Joe uses one called Dove. So there's another one we can add to our list. So with some of these, you can record yourself talking and then use that as your avatar, and then use variables for first name, company name, whatever. So it's a video of you that you can scale, talking a video that's like, hi, Kelly, then hi, Ernie, then hi, Brent. How are things going at Right Hand Recruiting? How are things going at Next Level Exchange? And it looks like you. And when you write out the speech, you put those variables in, and it changes each time it sends an email to Kelly to Ernie. You talking, it changes the name to Kelly, it changes the name to Ernie. So that's kind of cool, hyper personalization and scale, right? Because you could do that with YouTube, but you have to do one at a time, right? Some of these, the higher ones, will do that. They dynamically insert those names, very similar to customizing your email campaigns with variables, but again, it can get expensive. And then the general creating and hosting, right? YouTube with Canva, super cheap, super easy, and looks really cool. I sent one to Kelly that was her LinkedIn thing, and I had a play button in it. She hit the play, and I pop up like talking right, and her LinkedIn snapshots right behind me, right? So that's kind of a cool thing to do too. So, but again, that's onesie twosie, like 5 or 6 guys you really want to reach out to. You can do it that way, Canva and YouTube, and it's free, and it looks really neat too, because when they get the email or they get the message, there's their LinkedIn profile with a play button on it. Right, and it's almost like, well, shit, who's got my, you know, and then boom, my dumb mug pops up. So I'm sure that, and I think Kelly has one that showed me one, I can't remember, where you put the company URL, and that scrolls behind you while you're talking. Right. I think it was originally used by a lot of people who were trying to sell hosting services or web services, because they say, look how shitty your website is, right? Rolling behind me. This is what I can do. And then their website pops up, right? But again, we're talking some of these more expensive platforms. Okay, so next framework, 5 universal best practices. Now, this is not me. This is what the research that I did this week, trying to figure out what are the 5 things we should all be doing in terms of if we're going to send out videos, right? So keep it short and sweet. 30, 60 seconds maximum, right? Especially if you're going to send an SMS, right? Has to be short and sweet. Get to the friggin' point. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm wonderful and great. Got a great job. Give me a call. Talk to you later. Here's my email address. Boom, you're done. You know, you want it quick and to the point, right? And then value first. Always focus what's in it for the viewer. Educate, insight, opportunity, right? And hook structure. Start with something compelling to get them excited about watching your video. Again, compelling visual hook. In email, LinkedIn messages, you can use an animated GIF as a thumbnail. And in post and SMS, eye-catching opening frame, especially for, I see a lot of people post on LinkedIn. You want like a cool opening frame that people want to look at your video. Personalize everything, right? If it's generic, it's going to get ignored. And that's what we talk about, like, you can scale, send a lot of videos out with something like Hey Gem that I got, but it's not going to be as personalized, right? But I can send out 500, 1,000 emails or whatever with my videos in it. But if you're addressing the recipient by name, hi, Kelly, I wanted to talk to you about this great opportunity I have, referencing something specific about the company or the industry or whatever, and then tailor to an industry role or a pain point. Go ahead, Kelly.
And the other thing you want to do is look right into the camera. Because I've seen a lot of videos looking off to the side and it looks terrible.
Speaking of which, this is an extension of that. Value, not hard pitches, simple structure, hook, value, call to action, human, close. Like this is what I found this in 3 different places and selling about that. Like hook them in, give them a value, give them a call to action and human close, and that's it, right? Very genuine, friendly sign off. But as Kelly was saying, professional, natural setup, right? So production quality is important. It has to look professional, but it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Good lighting, clear audio, look in the camera, be yourself, right? Smile, show your personality or whatever, but don't get too over polished, right? Authenticity trumps perfection, right? Make it authentic. It's okay if you do some ums. It's okay if you stumble on a word or whatever, right? It's okay if your dog jumps in the background. If the authenticity is going to resonate better with your clientele, as long as it's professional, right? You can't have, craziness going on and whatnot and cussing like I do. So, that professionalism and authenticity balance is kind of really important. Now let's talk about a little bit about adapting for each different channel, right? So I dug into this a little bit because I first thought we were going to do it on email, right? So the subject line, and I'm not 100% on if this is the right subject line to use or not. This came up on a couple places I looked, but video to boost open rates was something they said, like quick video message for you or personal video inside. I would definitely A/B test this because I'm not 100% into thinking that's going to work. I don't know exactly how you would do it. Go ahead, Alan.
Has anybody had any experience? Everybody, year or 2 or so ago, I used to put the person's name in the subject. Tommy, Ernie, Dominic, da-da-da. And that's how we get our highest open rates. Does anybody know anything
like that? Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
When somebody does that to me, I automatically delete it because I know it's a sales pitch. Yeah. I don't even look to see what they're selling. I don't care.
The noise, what happens is something works good and everybody adopts it, then it stops working, right?
Yeah.
So think about how if you started doing email campaigns 5 years ago, you would be like the rock star email campaign person because nobody was doing it, right? And if you were the first one that was putting names in the subject line, you were probably killing it. And then everybody gets used to it. The word gets out. But just like this, the word will get out on this eventually, and every single video will be every single email, message, everything's gonna be a damn video one day. So again, back to the email, right? So thumbnail placement. Place the video thumbnail at the top for visibility so they know to click it. And then animated GIF thumbnails if you can, depending on what you're using. And that's why stuff like Vidyard and Senspark, right? They host it. So the analytics and the engagement tracking is going to get a little better. And you're going to be able to embed the video, not embed, but link the video in a way that's going to look more realistic. Go ahead, Alan.
Guys, this is completely off the topic, but I want to give everybody my cell phone. I want you to call me or text me if I'm never on this Friday one. I just got a monthly retainer signed that just hit my inbox. Every time I've been on this thing, Tommy, something good happens.
Hey,
not only meeting you guys. Don't get me wrong.
Y'all hear that? Does everybody hear that? Something good happens when you come on our show.
And I want to thank everybody really quick, just because everybody's been real helpful. So please, Tommy, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
are you going to share?
We're absolutely.
Do you want to thank us that much that you're going to share?
You want to find me some candidates? I'll share.
Follow up, right? So I think this is really important, and this is something that Kelly and I have talked about too. Is you can spray and pray all the emails you want. You can send out all the video messages you want. If you're not tracking your analytics, you're not tracking your engagement, and you're not following up after the fact, right? If you're just sending out 100 emails and then only engaging with the people that reply back, what are you doing past sending another email? Like, are you calling them? Are you, you know, sending flowers? Are you, you know, going to their door, hitting them with a brick, put them in a bag and dragging them to your client? Like, what are you doing follow-up wise? Follow-up is so damn important. And it's the same with this. You may think I got this great video, but I'm not getting a lot of responses. But think about, hey, this is Tom Alashio. I sent you an email and I sent you a video. What'd you think? Are you open to, hey, you're that crazy guy that sent me that video. I've been meaning to call you. I lost your number or whatever. Like, follow-up is so important. And I think so many people forget to do that. So even though we're talking about this, I think just follow up overall. If you're doing any type of campaigns, you're doing any type of business development, if you're not following up, you're screwing up. Go ahead, Ernie.
Kelly, what are you using to follow up? Tracking.
Phone calls.
No, but I mean, what to track things that you're looking at as a whole and say, who do I need to call? Is there a program that you use?
Well, if you use one of those video programs, it's tracking the metrics for you. And so I'm following up with everybody that opens my video.
Okay. Right on.
And then I would say the ones who don't open our video, yeah, that's at the back end. You follow up with them. Once you followed up with everybody that opened, then you follow up with everybody who didn't open, right? And you follow up with everybody who didn't respond. Like that's what I talk about when I do my searches. I call the people who accept my connection requests first, right? And then after that, I start emailing them. And if they don't respond, then they get called. Everybody gets called. Go ahead, Zifa.
Yeah, I just had a question about sending a link like in the email. Isn't that bad for deliverability?
It can be, and we were talking about that earlier. I don't know if you come on. So pixels and links can absolutely put you into spam, right? So the more junk you have in your the more junk you have in your email, the higher chances are. So if you're gonna do something like this, and you're using something like Sendspark or one of the other platforms we were talking about, all you want is the link to the video. That's it, right? So you don't want your signature, you don't want your calendar invite, you don't want your logo, you don't want your www.prsearchinc.com. Like, you don't want any of that stuff, right? You're going to have, I mean, the only way you're going to be able to do this is to put links to the video in it. So try to use the best practices you can. If, you know, Kelly uses 7 or 8 different domains that are similar to her domain, sends out 25, 30 emails max from each domain to keep them underneath the spam gods rule. So all that stuff, everything we talk about for deliverability and email campaigns can be applied to the video side as well. And if you do that, you're going to get, you know, decent deliverability. Nothing's ever going to get through perfectly every single time. And it just is what it is. But when sending videos, you know, following those best practices is really important. Go ahead, Alan.
Best practices, Tommy, you mentioned multiple domains you're sending from. I've heard about this a lot. Maybe I'm stupid and naive, but do you send from like 5 different domains?
So Alan, if you don't mind, can we save that for the end? Because that is a whole nother discussion. But yes, we'll walk through that after this is all over on the you know, follow-up and everything. So let me get through this. There's only a little bit left, and then we can take all those questions. So again, we talked about email. And then LinkedIn messaging, right? So we have LinkedIn messaging and LinkedIn posts. So from doing the research, you know, you're probably only going to be able to send LinkedIn messages to your first 3 connections with links, with video links. And from what I understand, I think you can embed the videos into the messaging now, right? They changed that. So embedding is really important, right? So direct video uplink, LinkedIn now allows direct video uplinks. So that's going to boost visibility and engagement over external links, right? And that goes for both messaging, and it also goes for LinkedIn posts, right? Again, if you're doing the messaging, the personalization is important. I don't know, let's use Jobin, for example, because they have the LinkedIn messaging as part of their campaign. If you can use Jobin with the personalization variables and then a link to your video, that might be a great way to use LinkedIn messaging for your first degree connections. And again, with LinkedIn, keep it toned, professional, friendly, avoid being scripted. We talked about that. Analytics to track it. You know, LinkedIn gives you decent analytics, but so do these other platforms. And as always, so you don't get your PP smacked, be mindful of LinkedIn policies on unsolicited messages to avoid account restrictions. Like, nobody wants to lose that. And then moving to posts, right? So your video for posts is going to be, doesn't have to be hyper personalized because you're looking for a broad appeal, right? And then this is something that I didn't even think about, but captions, right? A lot of people watch videos and don't listen to the sound. So if you're putting a video on something like LinkedIn or Facebook and you're trying to engage a lot of audience, make sure you have captions about your video. That way people can watch it on the bus, the train, wherever, and they don't have to turn the volume on, right? And the captions can, instill your message. And then the hashtag, right? Hashtags works really well on LinkedIn as well. Engagement prompts to boost the interaction. And again, the native video, right? So upload native rather than linking out, because the algorithm loves uploaded videos, right? The algorithm loves autoplays in the feed, right? That's what's going to happen if you're using native video versus a link to YouTube or a link to Loom or a link to the Venmo or Vimeo or whatever it's called. You're going to get higher engagements by using the native video inside of LinkedIn. And then consistency, right? That's super friggin' important. I talk about that all the time on a lot of the stuff we talk about LinkedIn. Rich Rosen, I think he's in the meeting today. His consistency gets him on the, and the guy he's paying all the money for to make his great post gets him at the top, right? And that's what's going to happen if you're going to post videos once a week, twice a week, once a month, whatever. Be consistent. Be consistent and branding consistently so that the algorithm pushes you up there. And then lastly, SMS, right? I know some of us have SMS in our campaigns, and you got to get permission. I had to say that for regulation purposes. I don't, it's up to you guys, right? But very brief in your text messaging. Very, very, very brief video. Hey, it's Steve. Here's a video. Call me if you have an interest or whatever, right? And you can use LinkedIn shorteners like Bitly, if anybody knows what that is. If you have a long YouTube video you're going to send in or whatever it is for these SMSs, the video shorteners can make it so it's just a little link. Here's a video about me and everything, and it's wonderful. And then again, follow TCPA, which is our regulations for spam and SMS, and GDPR, which is Europe's. Yeah, Alan.
You can just regarding the permission thing. When I did an ATS evaluation and we bought it, what they basically said is, like within an ATS, you need to ask for their permission. But if it's somebody over time you have already been texting with, and we all have those, you can Google it and figure it out. But they were very specific about it. And then at the bottom, if it's cold, as long as you have a do this,
text stop to and once we're off the air, I'll talk to you all about the tricks about that.
Okay,
remind me of that afterwards when we go to secret double probation. Some pitfalls and core principles before we end, right? So over personalization. Avoid making videos that feel robotic or overly scripted, even when you're using like AI tools. Don't ignore compliance, right? I was just talking about that, especially for SMS and email. That's gonna screw up your damage to your reputation, your email reputation, get you in problems with LinkedIn, right? Lengthy content, stop, no link, more than 60 seconds, steep drop off in people watching your video, and steep drop off in engagement, right? Like they've done these tests, no more than 60 seconds. Also, if you're not A/B testing, especially in emails, subject lines, thumbnails, call to actions and whatnot, you're missing opportunities, right? That's going to help you craft what resonates better on LinkedIn, which resonates better on LinkedIn messaging, and what resonates better on email. So think about doing A/B testing. Neglecting follow-up. Again, don't forget the follow-up. I mean, that's such an important thing, whether it's this or any other thing you're doing for business development and recruitment. If you're following up, then you're a real person. They're remembering you. They're thinking, hey, maybe not now, but I'll call them later. And you're only going to get that if you follow up. And then branding, right? Inconsistent branding. One of the things I was reading was, I talk about consistency posting. They was talking about tone, messaging, look, all across all the platforms. Make sure your look is the same. So if they see you on LinkedIn, and then they see your website, and then they see you on YouTube, and then they see you on an email, they remember, oh, that's Palermo Rhodes. It's that puzzle piece in the blue and black, right? That branding is what's going to make you stand out, right? And remember you, right? If they see, my son is down at the boat show. He's selling yachts for a living now. And people walk up to him and said, hey, I saw you on YouTube. right? Because he does a bunch of YouTube videos for his company. And it's the same branding, the same pocket yacht jacket, the same backgrounds, everything is very consistent, whether they post on LinkedIn or they post on YouTube. So that branding is really important. And I think to end this off, the key takeaway is one video asset equals multiple touch points. And you can send it in email campaigns, you can send it in LinkedIn messages and posts, SMS follow-ups, and website embeds on one absolute really cool video that you do. That's it, guys. that's our thing. And like I said, I'm going to drop the link to all this stuff it'll be in the description on the YouTube channel, and I'm dropping it in the chat right now. If anybody's everything that we just talked about here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we can go to questions and concerns and what I was wrong about, what I was right about, and all that good stuff. So
on the branding thing, I've had a brand for like 20 years, and I feel like it really pigeonholed me. And just seeing some of these new influencers like Alex Hermosi, like, why do we stick with our corporate branding, put so much into it? Like, I'm ready to shift one of my YouTube channels just to my name, right? You know, I didn't want my business to be all about me. I wanted my team to like run with it. Mm-hmm. But when people get back to me like 10 years later and stuff, they're getting back to me. They're not getting back to my brand. Right?
So do you think that the brand held you back, or it's just not as important as we were talking?
I'd like to have that discussion, right? How important is the brand versus just your name, right?
Well, you are the brand, aren't you? I mean, especially if you're putting videos, they go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, and I think with just AI creation of brands and stuff, like I had a guy reach out to me. He's got a recruiter voicemail or voice answering AI thing. And I'm like, oh, great. I get on LinkedIn. He's got 50 followers. I'm like,
nope.
I'm like, and I, you know, like I shouldn't be that discriminatory, right? Because he actually had like some of the best email spam. It was totally targeted to me. I've already said to my team, we need to be answering the phone 24/7 using AI. And he's like, oh, your candidates will be, you know, scripted into, you know, your recruiters, and, you know, it'll segment your employers as they come in. And anyways, I think personal branding is more important than ever. I don't know what other people think, right? Like,
Lisa, you had a question?
No, I had a comment about that. I mean, like, I feel like with any business, there's like the two layers, right? There's your company's brand, and then there's your personal brand. But it seems like on LinkedIn, personal brand is like very important because a lot of people, you know, I'm friends with like other founders and stuff, and most people will use LinkedIn and develop their personal brand and then have that feed into their like company on LinkedIn. But then outside of LinkedIn with traditional companies, it'll be like the company brand, which is kind of its own thing. So I think it just depends on which channel you're using, you know?
That actually is a good point when you think about that, because I'm all about my personal brand on LinkedIn, and Palermo Rose doesn't really get branded at all. Go ahead, Lori.
And just to tag onto that, that's exactly what I was going to ask. I created a LinkedIn company page just because that's kind of what I was used to. But now I'm in the struggle of, I've got my personal page, which is where all my connections are. And now I'm trying to grow this company page, and now I have to create content for both, which, do you all use both? Or are you just focusing on like for those solo people? Obviously, if you have a whole staff that needs to monitor a LinkedIn feed or something, that's fine. But, you know, small business, do you need both?
I have a Sociamonia that posts to all three of my, so I have the Recruiter Roundtable, I have the Palermo Roads, and then my own, right? So if something goes out on Sociamonia, I could have it go to all three platforms, but the engagement all comes from my personal brand, right? So any big engagement I get is me. And yeah, there's a little bit of engagement on the Roundtable, a little bit of engagement on Palermo Roads, but at the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I look at the people in here who get a lot of engagement, like Rich Rosen, Dominic, and Kayla. It's all about the personal brand. It's nothing about Lazio Search, right? It's nothing about Cornerstone Search. It's Rich Rosen, it's Dominic, it's Kale, it's me, right? So I think that at the end of the day, while I think branding is important, our personal brand is what we're talking about on LinkedIn. And also, I don't even want to know what Huff said. I haven't looked at the chat yet. With my logo, right? So at least my business brand is connected to my personal brand in a way that people remember it that way. Go ahead, Alan.
I think my experience in talking to people and observing people is kind of, you've got the big four consulting firms where the partners are always saying the name on the back of the jersey is more important than the name on the front of the jersey. So it's the person, not the company. There's also, being in construction, I've seen a couple people do some interesting stuff. So I'll use Kale as an example. He does flooring. He insulates floors. He paints floors. That's all his company does. It's very successful. Kale started posting on LinkedIn. Hey, thank you for Lori Incorporated. We're doing their warehouse. Thanks to Tommy's Construction. We're doing work for them. And it grew and grew. And he got too busy. So then he had to give it to one of the assistants. And he said, "Here's, read all my stuff. Here's the criteria. Here's what I want to do." And so it's still his personal one, but it always mentions the company, and it always gives thanks to the other companies. So I don't think there's a wrong answer, Lori. I think the only time you really lean into your company is if you're trying to grow a company to sell it.
Yeah. I completely agree. And that's exactly was my thought. Like that's not my goal. So
ultimately people care about you. They don't care about your brand.
Yeah.
Your brand as a company. Like no one cares about Cornerstone Search, but they know my name. And that's all that really matters.
I mean, you want a big money lesson on that one. Rich Rosen was a consultant that I knew in the electricity space. KPMG treated him like crap, fired him and 3 of his people. They went to IBM. The global partner called Rich and the 2 buddies and said, "Hey, you was trying to be nice, then got hard-handed." Said, "Well, you can't go after our clients." And Rich said, "Steve, the name on the back of the jersey is more important than the name on the front of the jersey." And Rich told me, this was firsthand. He goes, "I heard the guy say, 'oh shit,' under his breath." And 4 months later, IBM had 3 of the biggest clients that KPMG had.
Oh, wow. Kelly.
Rich, I'm sorry. Boston lost yesterday.
Yeah. We all thought
Dodgers are winning.
All right.
But I wanted to ask, so Rich, would you recommend video? I mean, I actually learned about this from you, that you do this with recruiting. Do you do it for business development also, or do you just MPC candidates, or not just, but do you do them hand in hand?
So I'll throw videos up on LinkedIn about jobs, or I'm going to probably start doing a little bit more on a personal, like just commentary stuff. But I do a lot of videos. The guy that I have doing all my content is awesome and very reasonable. And so he records our whole thing, makes the videos that he posts, and then I'll throw some up there around various roles I'm working on, or the state of the market, or whatever I'm thinking about. But I think we said this a long time ago too. I know Tom and Dom and I all talked about it. You got to just do something that's got a little bit of memorability to it. Don't be vanilla. Have an opinion. If you piss people off, even better. I'm not saying being racist and rude, but it's okay.
Man or glad. Man or glad. Man, I say it all the time. Man or glad.
But it's but you've got to take a side, take a stand. And I learned this from one of my best clients, and this guy is one of the best sales leaders in the country. And that's how he and I clicked, because I came in with an opinion, not just, "Oh, I hope he likes me," and tried to yes him to everything. And he's right. I mean, candidly, you watch all these videos and all these opinions, all these things people do. 90% of them are complete vanilla, nothing memorable. But you get a guy like Alex Ramosi or some of these big influencers, they pick a side and they stick to it. So, it's a great lesson to make sure you follow.
Yeah, whether you're right or wrong, people respect you if you stick to that side. Like I believe cold calling is great. Like as long as if I ever capitulate on cold calling, people aren't going to take me seriously.
Yep.
Right. So that's a very simple way to look at it, but that's what it is. Yes. Yeah. Memorable, mad or glad, and stick with I will always say cold calling works.
Always.
And that's important.
I'm horrible.
And I'll fight people over that. So and I'm sure there's people off about it.
I honestly, I do love that point though, Tom. I'm with you. I mean, I think cold calling is the best, and there's very few trainers that actually teach it because they don't know how to do it. And the results ultimately, I think the results, quite frankly, better. If you do
you learn so much from it.
Oh,
you're gonna develop skills that 90% of the population doesn't have.
No. Exactly.
To be able to talk to someone you could just walk up and think about how many entrepreneurs, how many very successful people started out by calling someone they did not know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I always tell the story in my classes. Like, I had this client, the first time I called the guy, he was such an asshole and just a complete schmuck. And I mark him in my database, basically as an asshole, which these are guys I'll go call and screw around with or practice new stuff with, which if anyone wants a great candidate to practice on, this guy is. I talked to this guy Monday. I mean, he literally the most arrogant fuck I've ever met in my life. Happy to share his resume. So far, I've had 3 people call him. No one's lasted more than 25 minutes on the phone with him before they lost their shit. He actually will send you an email dictating you read this entire email before you call him.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. A 58-year-old VP of sales that has worked for 2 companies, including MCI in the Bay Area, and can't understand why no one will hire him. he told me I was a spineless, ballless recruiter because I can't get him a job.
oh my gosh.
It was fantastic. Sorry for the language. There was a point that but this guy that I called that was a complete a-hole. I call him back. I never forget. I call him back right before Thanksgiving. Things are slow, and I'm like, let me just practice this whole thing and screw around with this dude. And I call him. And we ended up having this amazing conversation. And to the point where I even told him, I'm like, this guy's name is Rich too. I was like, Rich, I only called you because honestly, you were such an asshole before. And the guy, he became one of my absolute best clients and even came to work for me at one point. And then his neighbor even came to work for me at one point. Unfortunately, he had since passed away, but I had built multiple companies for this dude afterwards. So 1, you never know. 2, it's just a great lesson. And 3, you got nothing to lose.
That's it. You have nothing to lose, number 1. And number 2, it doesn't mean the first call could be, he would give in a bad mood. His wife could have left him. His dog could have died, right? And you caught him at a bad time. If he's a good client, if he could be a good client or he could be a good candidate, you just mark him down and, call him again.
Yeah.
That's a great story, man. That's a great story.
What would animals say in this situation?
Yeah.
Check this all out.
Yeah.
It's all black and white.
Dom, you know what? Dom, I should send you this guy's resume. We should call him live right now because it would be so fucking funny.
That would. Let's do it. Can you do it?
So
I can't do it because I've already talked to him.
If you give me a recruit pitch, I'll call him live.
He's a sales rep. He's a VP of sales. He will do anything.
Seriously, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
How would we do it where you guys could hear it?
Everyone just got to go on mute, and then
you can share your tab on a Meet.
Yeah.
Your sound on a tab, so you'd have to do it from your Loxo phone, or if you still got one, or a VoIP phone.
This is
Is it going to be appropriate, for the guy?
Oh, come on, Ernie.
I can. Actually, no, we can't. I'll get banned.
No, you just can't share his
I
name.
can record it and then X his name out. So if we want, once we go to double secret probation, if we wanted to do that, but I can't stream it, I'll get banned.
Do it in double secret.
I will send you. I'll send you this guy's resume. You can do what.
Actually, send me his resume and we'll do it next week
on your own volition.
When I'm prepared for it.
I want to do it now.
Rich, what's his name?
Double secret probation in 18 minutes. And then
I will send it to you as well.
Rich, don't share his name here.
I will not.
Just do it in the chat. Do it in the chat.
I already got 2 videos taken down for stuff that was less mundane than that, so I just got to be careful. I actually got 2 taken down and 1 they put back up once I deleted my wife's email out of it. They took my video down because my wife's email was in it. My comment video. Yeah.
Google
my comment
did?
Video. They said I was doxing her. I'm like, it's my wife.
Hey Tom, I don't have your email in my database here. I don't know why. What's your
Thomas at PRSearchInc.com. P as in Paul, R as in Ralph, the word search, INC, PRSearchInc.com.
All right. All right.
Rich, did you already say that to me the other day?
No, I'm just sending it right now. You know, the funny thing is, I had the reason I called this dude by accident because I have another guy. He's got an odd last name, and I called him by accident. I have another candidate interviewing who is the exact same name as this guy, the same weird spelling.
Oh, wow.
And this other guy is fantastic. I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, just so you know, there's another Looney Tune with your exact same spelling of your name. And also a VP of sales that you just need to be worried about. If it comes across as someone thought ill of you, it was not you. It's this nut job.
Rich, I think you can make a double placement.
Yeah, seriously.
Make a double placement, interview at both places, send the offer letter to different people. The guy shows up for work.
Oh, dude, that would be hysterical. That would be
MBA and mechanical engineering degree. I mean, the guy looks great on paper.
Yeah, he is. Wait, would you like to talk to him? He's going to tell you how great he is. According to him, he created the NEPQ method with Jeremy Miner.
Oh, wow.
There's zero chance he did, but when I ran my transcript through AI afterwards, even the AI was like, "This guy's highly unplaceable," basically. The transcript was hysterical. It was, but it was really funny because my other buddy who called this dude. Basically, this guy is like and I apologize, ladies. This guy is like essentially wants like a dominatrix because until this guy yelled at him, the guy's like, well, that's fine. That's what I want. Someone who's got some balls. This guy is nuts. It was, his resume is excellent because his wife was a nurse and she did the resume for him. So it's just another great day in recruiting. So
okay. Jumping back to video, and Dom shared a great LinkedIn tool that I thought might have the feature I want. If you follow any of the top YouTubers, they don't make videos that are gonna flop. What they do is they go to profiles of other content producers in their niche and look for videos that overperform, right? So if your usual post, so I want to transfer this to LinkedIn. So if your usual LinkedIn post gets about 500 views and 10 likes, the ones that outperform are ones that they replicate with their own twist. So does anybody have anything on LinkedIn, a tool that measures the posts of other people on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Interesting idea.
Phil, that guy that I sent you, there's a guy that will do this out of the Bay Area. I just put his company in the comments.
Okay.
But I actually have something set up, and every Sunday morning I get all of these influencers posts and like why they did well. And if I should be like taking it and putting it in my little thing and say, create, my own spin on this or whatever, but I don't do it.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
yeah, you should totally do it because I was listening to the Social Media Examiner podcast, and the guy who is actually on the podcast, he doesn't actually create it. He gets his team to do an AI creation, and he says, like, this is AI video, right? And his posts go amazing. That's what he says, but definitely I try and do it a little bit for YouTube, but
Rich, have you noticed that using video has that really impacted your business?
I don't know if it's really impacted it. I get a pretty big following, so like I get like even a lousy post I do generally gets minimum of 5,000 to 10,000 views.
Wow.
Like the good ones get over 500,000. So the videos, I haven't looked in a little bit, but I mean, I think video is useful, but again, you got to be consistent with everything. The videos that I've done, I mean, those probably hover around 10 to 20,000 views, I think. So not as much as the text ones did, but still good traction, right?
Right.
And Rich, are you trying to do a newsletter, or like what's your end game on LinkedIn?
So my end game is just, you know, just to be out there more, right? One man band. So, you know, I think part of the secret to my success is I still feel like no one knows who I am. Like I'm starting to actually like realize that's probably not as true as in my head as I think it is, but this is the joy of being a neurotic Jew. So, you know, this is what we do. I get to like every year I hit like 2 weeks of the year, like 4 weeks of the year, 2 different times, 2 weeks of the year, twice, I should say, where I'm like, oh, I don't have enough jobs to work on. I got to start doing BD again. And every year I pour money into something that I'm like, that was stupid. And I told myself I wasn't going to do that this year, but I wanted to do something different. And I think just putting yourself out there and being seen over and over and over and over and over again is the key, right? And it doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. Like even if it's just commenting on other posts consistently and adding something to it, is great. I think, you know, so video is dynamite because I see who you are, see you as a real person, you know, but anything you put out on a consistent basis is great. And, you know, I think that's what you need to do. But, you know, again, it just has to be, you know, something.
And what Rich said, just commenting on larger people with larger followers often, or targeted people often.
Or just the key decision makers in the key influencers in your industry. If you know, like I do tech, so if I see whatever, Steve Jobs would comment on something, right? Say, I mean, like if he would do something, if he was around, you know, it's a guy I'd want to comment on, because people start seeing who you're associated with. And it's the whole rule of 5. You hang around with 5 winners, you're a winner. You hang around with 5 losers, you're a loser, right? So if you're hanging around and commenting on other people that are respected in, you know, string, then you now get viewed as someone, oh, you're connected to this guy. This guy must be good.
Rich, don't you think there's a caveat to that, though? I mean, with all sincerity, aren't there people on LinkedIn you're thinking, man, reading your shit is like cotton candy. It's
totally. But I mean, but again, that's not good content.
Hey, Joe,
well, I guess
you're done, Rich and Rich and Steve, when you're done, Joe's got a question.
I guess what I'm wondering is, not that it's any of my business, I'm probably psycho about this, but are these people who are just doing vapor and cotton candy kind of bullshit, are they making it happen, or are they just
listen, that's what I mean. Like, you can't just do this vanilla. Like, I got a buddy that posts stuff all the time. I've literally told him, like, stop posting your walk on the beach.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit what you did with your whatever, your tree that you planted yesterday. Like, I mean, I personally find it offensively boring. Right. So, like, I don't want to see that stuff. That's just me, you know, but I don't know anyone in the business world that cares about those things, right? On LinkedIn, at least. And maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. I personally just think, I'm like, I hate, like you just said, the cotton candy fluffy stuff that, listen, hear me speak. Like, you want to, like, I use LinkedIn as just a place to bitch and moan, because I know every one of my buyers, they have the same freaking thought, but they can't say it. I get calls literally every single day from posts I put out on LinkedIn saying, I wish I could have liked it, but my boss reads it too. But you're spot on.
You wrote on Epstein.
It was, say again?
But what you wrote either yesterday or today on Epstein, I'm thinking, wow,
Rich,
he's like Iron Balls McGinty.
Rich, you need to do one of you hiking. We need to see that.
Yeah, seriously.
But
Joe,
but Rich
has been waiting patiently. Someone let Joe talk.
And go ahead, Joe.
So I've gone through a whole bunch of training on the whole LinkedIn posting thing, and I've done it with a bunch of other people, and we've been comparing notes. So let me just say a few things, because I know some folks have really not gotten into it, and I don't want them to make some of the same mistakes. The first mistake is thinking that impressions means anything. Impressions is a vanity number.
Yep.
I know people that have gotten, 20,000 impressions. Well, did you get anyone who showed any interest in you? No. Did you get any business? No. So impressions, just use it from the standpoint of, well, if I'm not getting enough impressions, maybe what I'm saying is just not interesting enough. The next thing is, someone had asked about content creators and finding out what they're doing. There's a software called Aware, and some people that have used it periodically to identify the top content creators, exactly what their metrics are in terms of their LinkedIn posts. And they've used that to try to go to these content creators and do what was discussed before in terms of commenting on their post, and then hopefully they comment on your post, and then maybe you get lucky and someone sees it. But then I also know some people that LinkedIn has slapped their hand and said, we think you're using automation, and it's been Aware because they get too addicted to it. So my recommendation is don't use it that much. Use it just enough to identify who's who. Now, when it comes to who the content creators are, I'm not going to say it's a bad idea to go after them and comment on their posts, but there's a lot of research out now from people who are, kind of the LinkedIn experts, that you're much better off if you're going to post on a given day, go and find 20, 25 people that are people that you would like to get to know and do business with, and comment on their stuff periodically, not like a crazy person, because they'll look at you like, where the hell did this guy come from? But enough where if it was you, you'd look at it and say, let me see who this person is. Oh yeah, I might need their services. And you have to post in a way that shows that you actually read their post and you're adding something of value, not only for what they're going to think of you, but what other people who are also in their circle are going to think of you.
That's engagement. That's engagement.
And
Joe.
on
Talk
that
about that
front,
engaging with people you want to deal with is really important.
And on that front, using Sales Nav to find other people in the company who post, right? Because if the CEO you want to follow, or the head of talent, or whoever it is, the VP you want to follow, doesn't do any posts, somebody else in the company posts, and usually that person will see that, right? They're usually connected to that person. So under Sales Nav,
yep,
you go to company, and then you say who posts regularly within the company.
Right.
That's a great point, Kale. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. And then Ernie has a question.
Let's see, what was my last thing? So right now doing video and short videos are things that seem to catch people's eye. Doing surveys is a waste of your time and everyone else's time. Doing just text, unless you're saying something that's really interesting, is also pretty much a waste of time, and I need to learn that one myself. But basically video, and also if you're posting something and you're posting it with a picture, try not to have it generated by ChatGPT. Use Canva or something else where LinkedIn won't be able to pick up the fact that you just used AI to create that picture, and then they'll ding you. You'll never even know that your post got put to the bottom of the pile, and people that should have seen it will never see it.
Isn't there
So that's my soapbox for today.
Joe, your text too.
Joe, do you think that holds up with I think it's Nano Banana, if you take an image and you edit it and you say it's AI? Because I think definitely, like, the straight AI photos, and I actually saw my team do some AI photos recently, and I'm like, oh, but I think if it's based on an actual image, it might have better reach. And if you disclose that it's AI.
I don't know, because that really gets into the algorithm, and if anyone really knew exactly how the algorithm worked day to day, they'd be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't. We'd be guessing, but I do just know that if I go on ChatGPT and say, do a funny picture of Cale Campbell for me from my post, and then I just copy and paste that, LinkedIn's going to know that I just used AI, and they're going to allow it. They're just not going to try to raise me up in the stack to get more people to see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was totally against AI generation and thinking that, oh, it's not going to go. But then I put an image of my boat into it to create video, and I'm like, oh wow, that's like 90% of the way there. Where if you just ask it to create something, it's like maybe 60. Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
LinkedIn, somebody must know. There was an article once you post on LinkedIn, you have what, 90 minutes, 30, 60, or 90 minutes. It starts a clock. LinkedIn starts a clock. And if you have X amount of engagement, then it gets continually bumped up and bumped up, which is one thing I wanted to ask Tommy here and this team here is if any of us starts a podcast, there's another equation. I'd have to find the saved LinkedIn article that I think Shally did it. And it was, if you get X number of your friends to say, oh, this is Alan put out a new podcast, and all of you, and then you tell your friends and they all do it. It doesn't take many. It's like 50 or 100 say, yes, 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 within the first 10 days of a new podcast, all of a sudden it shoots to the top of Apple's ranking. And then that act gets so many other people. Oh, wait a minute, this is a new one. Oh, this guy, and it starts a snowball. But
so
go ahead.
No, please finish.
Go, that was it. Sorry.
So you mentioned something just now, Alan, which jogged my memory. So in this training group that I was in, what we were told was it's all recruiters. So it's like, okay, Joe posts today. Everyone is supposed to post every day, but let's all like it. Let's all try to comment on it. And the trainers were thinking, oh, well, you do that, that's going to deal with that 90-minute thing or 60-minute thing. And really what it does is LinkedIn is not stupid. It looks at it and says, wow, this is really interesting to recruiters. So who is it going to get pushed to? Recruiters. Not my industry, but you kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
Okay, good to know.
And we've got to remember that LinkedIn is a Microsoft product.
Yeah. Like,
it is not a good algorithm compared to TikTok, which I'm not a user of, and especially YouTube, right? Like, if you produce something on YouTube that's really relevant to your target market, it'll get served up to them, and it's good, right? Like they want people to spend their time on YouTube. They want people to spend their time on TikTok, and LinkedIn's trying, but LinkedIn's tried a lot of things, and they're not anywhere near as good. Not that I dislike Microsoft or anything.
It's just
well, on that note of trashing Microsoft and LinkedIn, let's go to double secret replacement because it's right now 1:30. It's actually a perfect time for that. So with that note, thanks. That's a wrap. And thanks to all who attended and participated today, and those watching replay later. It's really a great part of our community. You can help us by hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it around wherever you can. Check out our streaming shows as we head on our live 5 p.m. Tuesdays. Third Thursday with Loxo and Jobin, and Dominic Miana's Business Development Roundtable every Thursday at noon. You can find us at youtube.com and at the Recruiter Roundtable and recruiterroundtable.com. Top suggestions, tips, tips, and more. Recruiter Roundtable at Gmail. Legal Services Roundtable provided by the offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Hal. Remember, this confidential privilege run suitable for unsanitary person below self-esteem, no sense of humor, rational religion, please be happy to know that no animals were harmed in making this podcast. Although the neighbor's dog is still living on thin ice. Thanks again for being part of the Recruiter Roundtable. Bernie Moreno and Kelly Nelson. I'm Tom Alessio. We'll see you next week on the Recruiter Roundtable. Until then, don't forget to smile and dial.
Well done.
We're out.
Hey, buddy.
We're out, guys. We're out. So, hey,